This is one of the most famous statues in the world. Built in 280 BC, it was created to commemorate the great King Ashoka the Third after he came to power over the kingdom of Magadha. However, what if we told you that there are many things that the statue and historians have gotten wrong about the legendary emperor? During his reign, Ashoka ruled over almost the entirety of the Indian subcontinent. He would convert to Buddhism after seeing the bloodshed during the Kalinga War and turn the empire into a peaceful place. But while he is seen as a hero today, this wasn't always the case. In fact, according to some, he was an absolute tyrant who waged war across the land. So what exactly did the statue get wrong about the real man, and why do some people view him as a villain? Welcome back, everyone. Here are 5 things the statue gets wrong about Emperor Ashoka the Third. Number 5. The missing years. According to historians and the statue, Ashoka the Third became the emperor after winning the Kalinga War in 261 BC. This makes sense, as this is when he converted to Buddhism and ended his wars. However, recent discoveries have shown that he actually took the throne in 268 BC and only came to power after his father's death. This means that he would have been 43 years old when he took the throne, and not the young man depicted in the statue. We know that the emperor had at least 2 brothers. One was named Kunu, but we don't know much else about him. His other brother, Sushim, was next in line for the throne. But when he passed away, Ashoka took the throne instead. Historians believe that Sushim's death may have been the result of poisoning ordered by their father, Emperor Bindusara. It was said that Bindusara wanted Sushim out of the way because he wasn't worthy of being emperor. While historians still aren't sure if he poisoned his own son, they do agree that the young prince's death paved the way for Ashoka to become the next ruler. After taking the throne, Ashoka traveled all over his vast domain to ensure its safety and prosperity, and it was during this time that he encountered the Buddhist monk Moggallana. Moggallana is said to have been a disciple of Gautama Buddha, the founder of Buddhism, and is believed to be the one who preached Buddhism to Ashoka and helped him convert to the religion. After becoming a Buddhist, the emperor made sure to spread the word of the religion throughout his empire, which is why many people view him as a hero. 4. A bloody reign. Ashoka's reign was a long one and lasted for around 40 years, bringing peace to the subcontinent and improving the lives of millions. But during his early years as emperor, things were very different. You see, before Ashoka became a Buddhist, he was known as a ruthless ruler who wouldn't think twice when it came to shedding blood. While historians agree that he did become a pacifist later in life, many don't agree that he was ever peaceful. To start, there is little evidence that the war with Kalinga was over Buddhism at all. Instead, historians believe that Ashoka simply wanted more land and power. He tried to downplay the violence of the war in his edicts, saying that it was swift and painless. But survivors of the war told a much different story. They described the battle as one of the bloodiest in history, saying that Ashoka's soldiers burned villages, killed innocent civilians, and sold women and children into slavery. This brings us back to the statue. While it does depict Ashoka in a heroic light, it doesn't show us what he was truly capable of. There are no images of the atrocities he committed during his early years as emperor, nor is there anything to suggest that he was a ruthless killer. It was said that after the Kalinga War, Ashoka saw the destruction he left in his wake and turned to Buddhism. But some historians argue that he simply used the religion as a way to improve his image so that he could continue ruling over the people. Whatever the truth may be, there is no denying that Ashoka played a major role in shaping ancient India. 3. The mysterious disappearance of Brahmi. Most of what we know about Ashoka's life comes from the inscriptions found on pillars and rocks throughout India. These were carved with Brahmi script, the language spoken in ancient India. But historians have recently discovered that many of these Brahmi texts have gone missing. For example, the Allahabad Pillar Edict contains the longest inscription from Ashoka's reign, and yet scholars can't seem to find the original Brahmi version of the text anywhere. The same goes for many of the other inscriptions. and this has left historians with more questions than answers. Some believe that the original Brahmi inscriptions were destroyed intentionally, but if so, who was behind the cover-up and why? Others believe that the texts were lost due to erosion or natural disasters. But given the detailed nature of the inscriptions, this seems highly unlikely. To make matters worse, many of the copies that we have today are incomplete. This has made it difficult for historians to piece together Ashoka's life story, especially since many important details seem to be missing. For example, historians can't agree on when he was born or died, and they can't even agree on how he came to power. They also don't know where he was buried, or if any of his descendants survived him. All they have to work with are a few fragmented texts and a handful of incomplete inscriptions. 2. The true location of the capital city. While the statue depicts Ashoka in his capital city, historians disagree on whether or not it was really where he spent his days. Most believe that the true location of the city is actually in modern Afghanistan. This would make sense as Ashoka's empire spanned all the way to the Hindu Kush Mountains. And archaeologists have found several ancient ruins that could have been the capital. However, the ruins are in such poor condition that historians can't be sure if they really are the ones depicted in the statue. What we do know is that the capital was a bustling metropolis during Ashoka's reign. He built numerous palaces, temples, and other public buildings and decorated them with beautiful works of art. Unfortunately, most of these structures were destroyed by looters or have been lost to time. Even if the ruins in Afghanistan are the remains of the capital, it will likely take decades of excavation to uncover the truth. Until then, we may never know what really happened to Ashoka's greatest achievement. Number 1. Ashoka's true appearance. If you've ever visited the statue, you probably noticed that it depicts Ashoka with European features. This isn't surprising as the statue was built relatively recently and was sculpted by a European artist. However, this has led many Indians to believe that Ashoka didn't look anything like the man in the statue. In fact, many believe that he looked more like an ancient Indian than a European. To make matters worse, there is absolutely zero evidence as to what Ashoka really looked like. Historians don't know if he had fair skin, dark skin, or any skin tone in between. They also don't know what his hair or eye color was. This has led to much debate over the years, with some believing that he looked just like the average Indian and others believing that he looked like the average European. Without any evidence to go off of, it's impossible to say who is right. But one thing is for sure, the man in the statue doesn't represent what most Indians believe their hero looked like. Thanks so much for watching. Which of these facts surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.